Hey everyone, welcome to our podcast, the Lifestyle Based Healing Podcast. We're really glad that you're here. This is our first episode, and so we want to basically go through today and just kind of explain the mission behind the podcast, some of the ideas that we're going to be bringing, why we feel like we have something to say and share on this topic, and then kind of what to expect in the coming episodes, all the good stuff to come. You have your hosts here, myself, Dylan, and my mom, Robin. Go ahead and say hi, Mom.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. So glad you're here.
Yeah, so that's basically the goal of today. Let's jump right in.
Sounds good.
Um, the mission behind this podcast and kind of why we wanted to start it is because, first of all, we realized that people here in the States are sick. Um, you know, we're not getting really good health outcomes, and a lot of people are frustrated with the kind of health that they're stuck with. We're having all these symptoms, all these chronic diseases, despite being one of the nations that spends the most money ever on health. And so we're not getting any healthier, and a lot of people are confused and frustrated about that. So we want to really address that and help people see past it. Because people don't really have to be sick. There's a way better way. Um, we just don't know that way, or so many people don't have that information. So our goal here is to help you see a different way of doing things, seeing the power that lifestyle has on our health outcomes, and help you get started on that path in the smallest or biggest way that we can.
Yeah.
Um, what would you say your mission for the podcast is, Mom?
Oh, so my mission is basically just to motivate people to pay attention to their health. And really, my goal is to help ease that frustration if we can. We're not going to be giving individualized medical advice here by any means, but there's so many things that we can be proactive with our health. And it starts with taking that first step. And if listening to us motivates you and you take something away from what we're doing, then I feel like we've done a good thing. Because our goal, as you know, Dylan, is to help people around us be healthier. Just because we see so much suffering in what we do in our practice. And this doesn't have to be that way, like you said earlier. People don't have to be sick. Yeah, that's what we model really well. So we want to show you another way and inspire you to go down that path instead. So what is your mission with the podcast, Dylan?
Yeah, just exactly what you said. Kind of like you said, we're not here to provide individualized support. And we do that separately because everyone's a little bit different, and so it really requires a personal touch. But we do want to provide a lot of new ideas, inspiration for folks, help people get unstuck from beliefs that may be holding them back. Because there's a lot of myths and misconceptions with all sorts of things with health, like nutrition, fitness, supplements, all those things. And so, really just help people make that transition to a proactive approach and, take full ownership of their health and the ability to control their health outcomes. And, like you said, that's what we love to do. And it's what we do with our practice members every day. And, we just hope to do a little bit of that through this production. Um,
Yeah, absolutely.
let's share a little bit about, who we are and why we do what we do. Why don't you start with your story, Mom?
Oh, okay. So as Dylan said, I'm Robin. Dylan's one of my four children, and my journey. I'm a trained registered dietitian, but honestly, my journey didn't start there with nutrition. It started way sooner, and I just tried help raising my kids in a very healthy way. I took that very seriously, and it really things took a different course for me and became way more serious about what I was doing with my health when I got sick. And I got sick. I first had an autoimmune issue hit me and navigated that. And then I just was doing well and then randomly just started coughing. And I coughed for about 8 months before I really felt like I probably need to go see the doctor because it kept getting worse. And they just put me on a ton of medications. And I didn't get any answers. And this is what motivates me so much when I work with people, is because I see this happening over and over again. This is why the frustration is there, is because we go in not feeling well, and there's no response of why it's happening. It's just we're given medications. And I was on that cycle of just more and more medications, and the medications were causing a ton of side effects. And, I really felt unheard because my mother died at the age of 60 from a lung disease. And I kept asking, and, is there any correlation to what happened? She never smoked, she never drank, nothing, right? There was definitely a genetic component there. And I kept asking, should I be concerned about that and doing something different with my lifestyle? And that was completely ignored. And so until I decided to do something different, and focus on lifestyle instead of just the medications and going to more doctors. And I started really uncovering some of these answers that were unique to me. And this is what I think I really want people to take away from Dylan, and I know you do too, is that understanding that everybody's unique. And so what works for me is not going to work for Dylan or work for whomever else is listening. And so it's a very personal journey. And so, that's why we do what we do, is because I know what it feels like to suffer and not be well and not live my best life. At the time before I got sick, I was an avid runner. I was a busy stay-at-home mom. And when I was in that year of being sick and trying to navigate this, and even longer as I got well, my life would look vastly different. And that was no fun. And, I didn't, and when I kept looking ahead as to what's the next, I was in my early 50s, what's the next 50 years going to look like? I didn't like where I was going. And I know many of you out there are at that same spot. So I want you to know I get it. I was there. And I also want to give you hope that you can have it be different. Takes a little bit of work, but it's definitely possible for you. And so that's sort of why I do what I do, and am driven to help other people. And then Dylan, what is your story?
Yeah, I mean, I've never kind of been sick like you, but I would say, I was always very health conscious. You love to tell a story of how I was the kid that always had the food pyramid on his, pin board in his room.
Yeah.
So I was always kind of just drawn to it, I guess. But what really kind of spurred my interest in lifestyle and eventually helping people with this is when actually dad got diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. I was kind of a teenager at the time, I think, and didn't really know exactly what was going on. But I could tell it was something had happened where, suddenly we were starting to make some diet changes and saw you guys making some lifestyle changes, and doing it as a family. And, um, I just imagined that it was a really big shock, because, you know, from my perspective, we had done everything really healthy up until then. Ate all the meals at home. Like, it's not like he was eating a bunch of fast food. He exercised a lot. He would ride his bike 100 miles at a time. Was an avid water skier, all these things. So he's fit, eats really well, and so, like, why did this happen to him? And so, um, it was just really inspiring to me to watch you guys, navigate that and, use it as not just a crisis but an opportunity to really learn what healthy lifestyle is in that situation. And so, um, I guess, watching that was really moving to me because it's like, so many people are in that situation where they think they're doing everything right until one day they get this wake up call. And, the more people I can help that to turn that situation around so that they have, additional decades of really good years to spend with doing their bucket list or, experiencing with family, like, that's a really good thing. And if we can prevent people from ever reaching that point in the first place, like, that would be even better, because it's not okay that, no one told my dad or educated him on how to do things differently to avoid it, because I think he would have done it. And that in some way has probably robbed me of some time with him. And so I just want to help people avoid that for themselves and for their families. And so that's kind of why I've done this with you, of course, for the past 4 years, and, why I want to continue doing it in the years to come. I just think it's such a good thing for society and my community as a whole.
Yeah, and I like what you said about it being an opportunity. It was really shocking because I thought, like I said, we thought we were the healthy ones on the block, right? And we weren't overweight, we exercised, and when he got that diagnosis, it was very shocking because there was no there was no lead up to it. There was no pre-diabetes, nothing. It was just bam, you have diabetes. And we're like, how did this happen? We thought we were doing everything right compared to everyone around us. And and I really, because I cooked all the meals, took it really to heart because I realized that our children are half him. So there's a really good likelihood there's a predisposition to diabetes that runs with them. So what a great learning opportunity to start changing our lifestyle. That's why we did it from as a family. As we started, and the kids were great, by the way. Not always, but it was basically like, hey, we're doing this as an experiment to help dad's health. And what a learning opportunity because I've watched each of you carry that into your own adult lives. And that's a great thing. So
Yeah,
it
I
can
I
be,
think one of the most like revealing things is like, yes, it was difficult to make those changes at first, but like it wasn't really like that hard. And
yeah,
that's what we find with most of our clients is like, yeah, it's some work to get there and to build your lifestyle and to figure out your problem, but like once you're on the other side, it becomes second nature.
yeah.
It just becomes part of you. It's really people still enjoy it and they don't ever look back because it's like what they get in return from that effort is better than where they started.
And they
Like,
feel so good. And that's what we call this lifestyle-based healing, right? Because
yeah.
that's really the crux of it for sure. So
So our hope is that you
absolutely.
guys kind of get a little glimpse of that through this podcast. What's to come? We have various ideas. Just looking to have you guys along for the ride. Some things that we have in mind are, just sharing our learning experience from practice, from teaching people and working with people with various health issues, all across the board. Gut issues, poor sleep, numbers going up, weight, hormonal imbalance.
Stress, yeah.
Sorry,
Stress,
stress. Yeah, chronic pain. All these things really. Lifestyle can really do it all. Our personal experiences and learnings. Hopefully, we'll have some guest speakers on from various disciplines to teach about their because lifestyle based healing is incorporates so many things, and hopefully some inspirational case studies to demonstrate some of these lifestyle principles that we teach, and basically all topics related to health, well-being, lifestyle. So we got a lot planned for you. Anything you want
yeah.
to add there, Mom?
Yeah, no, I think it's great. We want to, the longer we do this, the better we get at it. And, there's so much information that we want to just motivate people to, understand that they can make a difference. They just have to start by being proactive. And
Mm-hmm.
we're going to bring everything we know to share with people here so they can start doing that for themselves. And
Yeah, so if you want to start that journey, there's a couple different ways you can do it. First of all, wherever you're viewing this or hearing this, hit subscribe so you can be along for the unfolding of this podcast. If you want to get in touch, you can go to our website, therevitalizedcenter.com, therevitalizedcenter.com. Join our email list, book a call, something like that. We'd love to hear from you.
yeah, sounds great. And talk to everybody soon, I guess, huh?
Yeah, see you at the next episode.
Bye, everyone.